China continues its zero COVID policy, and the lockdown in Chengdu is ruthless. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. I can't believe I have to say it again, but China's zero COVID policy is getting out of control. The Chinese regime's zero COVID policy is one of the main factors behind the country's severe economic downturn this year. And it's not going away. At the beginning of September, the megacity of Chengdu, with a population of 21 million, was put under COVID lockdown. Of course, it doesn't help that the city has also been facing a tremendous heat wave and power outages. On the bright side, parents don't have to buy their kids easy-bake ovens since they're now living in one. Low river levels couldn't produce enough hydroelectricity, so the Chengdu government chose to go on low power mode. Not for themselves, I mean for the average citizen, like by making people take the subway in the dark. It's the perfect setting for a horror movie, only the bad guy who's out to get you is your own government. Sure, keeping the lights off in the subway saves a minuscule amount of electricity compared to, say, not running the subway trains, but it's symbolic of how everyone needs to make sacrifices for the good of the people. It's also symbolic of policy blindly going off the rails, but I don't think the Communist Party meant it that way. Here's another example of how everyone should be making sacrifices because the government tells them to. In the beginning of September, thousands of Chengdu residents were ordered to line up in the rain to get mandatory COVID tests. But there was a problem. Due to a system error, the workers weren't able to actually do the tests, but people were still required to wait in line 4 hours in the dark in the rain. Between this and the subway thing, Chengdu is literally living in the darkest timeline. The people in charge of that COVID testing blamed poor internet service, but it turned out to be a programming bug in their data collection system. But as bad as that sounds, the people who suffer the most are the ones who go against the government's narrative. On August 29th, a Chinese social media user named Redai Yulin, or Tropical Rainforest, posted a comment. He predicted Chengdu would go into full COVID lockdown. He wrote, "Sichuan province is requiring all of Chengdu to go under static management. The city is still disputing this, but likely the 5 main districts, Tianfu New Area and Longquanyi District, will go under static management. Nothing is determined yet. So far, it's only been up for discussion." How Tropical Rainforest came to this conclusion is not certain, but sure enough, people reacted to his posts with images of empty store shelves and freshly slaughtered pigs. Fresh pork belly. Tropical Rainforest's username blew up to be the second most trending topic on the platform. But becoming a trending topic on social media in China is not necessarily a good thing. In China, when you get canceled, it's for keeps. The next day, police detained Tropical Rainforest for 15 days for spreading rumors. More after the break. Welcome back. Shortly after Chinese internet user Tropical Rainforest posted his prediction that a Chengdu city lockdown might be around the corner, authorities fought back against this kind of slanderous rumor by stamping the characters for rumor in red across his posts. On August 29th, in order to attract attention, Mr. Shi, male, 37 years old, online name Tropical Rainforest, was spreading rumors and provoking trouble, causing panic among citizens and disrupting the epidemic prevention and control work. According to the relevant provisions of the Public Security Administration punishment law, Tropical Rainforest has been sentenced to administrative detention for 15 days and fined 1,000 yuan. Punishing someone for spreading rumors when they were actually just making a prediction, a proud communist tradition. This would be like arresting a Twitter user for saying that Giancarlo Esposito and Denzel Washington would play Professor X and Magneto in the new X-Men movie. Don't do that. Don't give me hope. When the authorities announced that Tropical Rainforest was a liar and a rumor monger, he became the butt of a joke among certain Chinese netizens. Some people even shared this poster online. It says, August 29th, Tropical Rainforest Shopping Festival. Essentially, tropical rainforest was being mocked and accused of purposefully causing a run on grocery stores as if he were profiting from it somehow. I would love to see that business model. It wasn't even a very good joke, which is why tropical rainforest won't be laughing in his detention center. But you know what else happened? Authorities refuted his lockdown rumors on August 29th, but 3 days later, the lockdown began. On September 1st, an official announcement was issued. The city's residents will stay at home in principle, and they will not leave Chengdu unless necessary. So obviously they apologized and let tropical rainforest go, right? Of course not. They left him in what I can only assume was a dark cell. At least that saves electricity. This is similar to what happened last year in China's northeastern city Tonghua. In that case, a man was punished because he posted online how he was starving because he was ordered to stay home and authorities weren't supplying enough food. Well, the authorities did feed him. Not food, they fed him lines for his public apology, which he had to make on camera. Fortunately, the Chinese government has a way to discourage people like him. Several years ago, they passed a law that whoever fabricates or deliberately spreads on media, including on the internet, false information regarding dangerous situations, the spread of diseases, disasters, and police information, and who seriously disturb social order, would face prison sentences with a maximum of 7 years. The good thing about the way that law is written is that it's so vague it can be used to punish pretty much anyone, even if they just ask a question or repost information from someone else, or, tell the truth. Authorities arrested tropical rainforest for spreading rumors, even though his rumors turned out to be true. They blamed him for causing panic buying that he may or may not profit off of somehow. But really, I think seeing the Chinese regime's extended lockdowns in Shanghai was what caused people in Chengdu to panic buy. In Shanghai, the government had initially said there would be a 2-stage lockdown lasting 1 week. In the end, it lasted 2 months, and people ran out of food. People running out of food because of bad government policy? A proud communist tradition. But the former editor-in-chief of my favorite Chinese state-run media, the Global Times, wrote that, "I think it is really inappropriate for tropical rainforests to spread news before Chengdu had made a decision on whether to go under static management. That is a major decision that can only be notified by the government. Even if individuals know relevant information, they should not leak it without authorization, or else they will affect the government's deployment. In other words, if you know something is true and the government is hiding it, you need to trust that the government is hiding it for your own good." And it's easier than ever to hide things these days, since everyone's now literally being kept in the dark. But don't worry, because now that Chengdu's lockdown has been extended, twice so far, no one is riding the subway anyways. And now it's time for me to answer a question from you, a supporter of the show who contributes to the crowdfunding website Patreon or on Locals. As a perk for supporting us, we can answer one of your questions on the show. Today's question comes from Weish on Patreon. After being burned by so many local investments, what stops average local Chinese people from investing their money out of the country? Good question, Weish. The answer is, the Chinese Communist Party has set up strict rules to prevent that. In 2009, they passed a law that Chinese people could only transfer the equivalent of $50,000 a year out of China. Eventually, the average Chinese citizen figured out how to get around that. They could buy Bitcoin with Chinese currency and then convert that later into US dollars. So how did authorities respond? They banned Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So it's really hard for the average person to get money out of China. Of course, for China's rich elite, those rules are no problem. They have fancy ways of moving money around, like through fine art or casinos in Macau. So as long as you're super rich, you'll be okay. As long as you can get yourself out of China before they come for you. Thanks for your question, Weish. And thank you to everyone else who supports China Uncensored. Your financial contributions are the main thing that keeps this show going. Visit patreon.com/China Uncensored to learn more. You can also support us through Locals, which is more of a social media format. Visit ChinaUncensored.locals.com. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.